Good morning, it's Yaki here with today's Devotional. On Sunday, Brad preached about a man named Zacchaeus and his encounter with Jesus, found in Luke 19. Let me read it. He entered Jericho and was passing through, that's Jesus. And behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich. And he was seeking to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd he could not, because he was small in stature. So he ran on ahead and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was about to pass that way. And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. So he hurried and came down and received him joyfully. I believe a big part of a preacher's job is to just remind his listeners about truths that they already know and have already heard, to get the listener to get some perspective and perhaps believe and take to heart the truths of their situation, and hopefully that seed of truth stays long enough to germinate and produce fruit. But it frustrates me to no end to see in my own life how successful the devil is at strangling or stealing seeds of truth, and before long I forget who I am and what I'm called to do, and I end up just plodding along, weak and ineffectual. This also happens if I don't read the scriptures daily. The truths that once were producing fruit gets forgotten. How does this relate to Zacchaeus, I hear you ask? Well, I believe Zacchaeus had a moment of perspective and truth that penetrated his heart and spurred him to action. He heard about Jesus. We're not told what he heard, but he was desperate to catch a glimpse of this man entering his town. Zacchaeus has perspective that some things might only ever happen once, and he might never again have an opportunity to see Jesus. Because he's short, he climbs a tree to see Jesus, even though it might appear undignified, uncomfortable, or childish. Anything is worth it to see Jesus passing by. He was rewarded, and that little seed of truth produced much fruit in his life. How many seeds of truth are we allowing to be strangled or stolen because we don't open our hearts to them? How much are we denying ourselves in being exposed to these seeds of truth by not reading the scriptures daily or attending church? I believe to be able to open our hearts to these seeds of truth is to first identify the lies or half-truths we might have subconsciously started to believe, and then replace them with the truths from scripture. For Zacchaeus, it might have been an untruth like, Jesus will probably come back to my town. I can maybe try and see him then. Or Jesus is probably not the Messiah, so I don't really care if I see him or not. It's getting perspective and seeing the true reality of your situation. I challenge you today to not skip reading the scriptures and getting your dose of truth. And on top of that, not to allow it to get strangled or stolen. Get perspective and banish the half-truths and lies, and let the seeds germinate in your hearts and produce much fruit. I hope you have a great rest of your day.